So why are they doing this? Because there are already 15 to 20 seats, and in places like New York and Illinois, they're maxed out. So they want to take this thing. They can't do any more in Massachusetts. They got 0 Republicans, but they think they can get maybe 5 seats, mostly in California. They can go from 9 out of 52 seats down to 4 Republicans. But it's also predicated on that the Republicans won't react, that they will just say, well, I don't like this political redistricting, because they know that if the Republicans react and they would do what the Democrats are doing and what the Texas people are doing, then they have the power to gain about 20 seats in redistricting, and they could do it before the midterm. And then, so they're playing with fire, but it's predicated on the idea that we're morally superior, so you wouldn't dare use the tactics that we're using. And then you get into this Obama phenomenon where he flies out of his estates, his 4 states, with his private plane, and then he weighs in on things. And reminds me of the filibuster when he said it was a racist relic. Remember that? They had the majority and they were filibustering. I have a pen, I have a phone. I have a phone, I have a pen. I can just, that started the whole executive order rationalization. He did it. And then he said that the filibuster was a racist relic. And then people said, well, wait a minute. When you were in the minority, you tried to filibuster Alito. You tried to stop his nomination vote. It wasn't racist then, was it? And then Eric Holder, remember we said that, Jeff Sessions is too close to Donald Trump. Pam Bondi there's no firewall. As soon as I heard that, I thought, well, RFK was the brother of JFK, and he was Attorney General and President. And then we remember Eric Holder said, I'm the president's wingman. And then when they put Bannon and Navarro in jail for refusing a congressional subpoena, and Eric Holder was the first Attorney General in history to be held in contempt over Fast and Furious, and they sent him a summons. He just, I'm not going to come. No way. Just like Merrick Garland. No way. And then when the January 6th thing came out, every day Eric Holder, insurrectionist, treachery, treason, the whole thing, both of them. And I just don't think anybody listens to either one of them, especially Obama.
Redistricting remains one of the most consequential levers of political power in America. In states like California, moves to shrink GOP seats from 9 out of 52 down to just 4 reveal how boundary manipulation can shift control without voter input. Nationally, analysts estimate aggressive maps could mean a swing of 15 to 20 House seats for either party, enough to flip Congress. Yet instead of a transparent debate, both sides invoke morality and accuse rivals of racism, while public trust in government is at historic lows and voter skepticism continues to grow. Overlaying these strategies are high-profile figures like Obama and Holder, whose shifting stances, whether on filibusters or executive actions, reflect a pattern of rhetorical flexibility, not consistent principles.
I think most people realize that all this division that we have on racial lines and the radicalization of the Democratic Party, it didn't start under Jimmy Carter. It did not start under Reagan, George H.W. Bush, even George W. Bush. They hated it. It didn't start. It didn't even start under Clinton, as Machiavellian as Clinton. It started under Obama. And he was the one that said, Trayvon is a kid that, looks like me, the son I never had. He's the one that said, everybody knows the police pull people over for no reason, the beer summit. Michelle, downright mean country, never been proud, that whole stuff. And then all the rappers in the White House with their ankle bracelets going off. He was the one, remember, what was his name? Love, the guy that was the bag man for Trump, for Obama, that weirdo in a weird way. He just introduced racialization and weaponized it. And we saw that in all of those things that came up, like the Trayvon Martin. Republicans, be careful, because this is what they're going to do. They're going to redistrict every Democratic majority purple state, and they're going to pick effective Republican Congress people, and they're going to put them in a new district with their rivals, Republicans, and they were going to cut in half the number. And these districts are going to look like spaghetti noodles. And then when the Republicans retaliate, they're going to say you're racist because you're eliminating gerrymandered districts for race. See, they don't believe that gerrymandering is bad. They only believe it's bad when Republicans do it, but they think it's very good to create automatic racial districts. The irony, again, as I said before, is that they have pretty much ensured that there will never be a Barack Obama national candidate again. And look at the black community and ask yourself, how many black senators are going to make it to the presidency? Kamala Harris? I don't think so. You think that Jasmine Crockett, spouting all of that hatred and racial crap, is going to be a senator in Texas? I don't think so. So what is my point? When you put people into racially gerrymandered districts that are hard left, they play to their base, and their rhetoric gets strident, polarizing, off-putting, racist. And then they emerge as a folk hero. But then every time they try to go national or statewide, they can't win. Where if you just made the districts 750,000 people under geographical concerns, then when you had black representatives, they would be polished and effective politicians. They would know how to appeal to Hispanics, Asians, whites, everybody, and they wouldn't, double down on reparations and race, and they wouldn't have Al Sharpton pictures and Farrakhan, all that. And that's what the gerrymandering and these special districts do. They radicalize minority candidates, and they effectively make them impossible to be competitive on statewide races. That's why everybody says, well, we've got to get the Senate. We've got to make the Senate more diverse. The Senate's a bunch of old white men. Well, then if you want to do that, get rid of the gerrymandering racial districts and have a farm team of effective politicians.
The divisions we see today along racial and ideological lines did not originate in recent presidencies, but crystallized during the Obama era. Landmark moments, from the Trayvon Martin case to the rise of majority-minority districts, accelerated the move away from class unity toward tribal identity. While racial gerrymandering is often sold as empowerment, it tends to produce hyper-partisan representatives who struggle to win broader support statewide. In 2023, just 3 black senators served in a nation where 13% of the population is black, a sign that engineered districts rarely translate into national leadership. If the goal is a more diverse and competitive Senate, the evidence points toward reforms that prioritize geographic representation over hardline racial segmentation. If you value honest analysis and real conversations, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and share your thoughts in the comments. What did we miss, and what should we tackle next? Your voice makes this community stronger. Let's keep pushing for the truth together.